The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntex Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spa05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes. Welcome to round two of the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli. We're at the Grand Prix circuit of the Nürburgring, checking out the sports divisions, Super Sport and Sport, close touring car racing, and the sports prototypes in the Superlight division. 28 cars head out into Saturday morning's qualifying, 19 in Supersport. They're all chasing the black and gold Lotus of Koroyce. The Evora won the last race at Zandvoort and is the comfortable pole sitter for both races, but that doesn't mean it'll be easy.
Well, it's
not going to be a walk in the park, he says. There's a lot of quick guys in the field. It's a 1 hour sprint race, so hopefully I'll do well. But I think it's going to be tough. There's 4 or 5 guys who could beat me here, so it's important to keep them behind me in the first corner. Need to keep out of trouble, and then should be able to hang on to the lead, hopefully. Well, Kor's got almost 30 years of racing experience. He claims his 3rd pole out of 4 races, but he still lies 5th in the championship because he didn't start race 1 at Zandvoort with electrical problems. Points leaders Peter van Solen and Koen Boekhart start 8th for race 1. And we ride on board with Luc de Kock 3rd on the grid. There's the black Evora on the right on pole. Jan Stuckenberg in the BMW M3, he starts 2nd. 421, the blue Seat with the white stripes, that's Benno van Rey. So away we go. It's Lotus versus Lotus then. The BMW heavier doesn't get away so quickly. 27 cars flash over the start line. Martin Webb out before the race starts with mechanical problems. It is going to be Koroyce that leads Luc de Kock, who's in 3rd place. That's Erik Kvik with a yellow on the BMW. He goes up the inside. There he is, right behind us. Points leader Koen Boekhart has dropped to 10th in the first chicane. Not a great start for him. So there's Koroyce of the black car, Luc de Kock all around him in the little Lotus. Looking further back, there's the pink highlights. Koen Boekhart's really struggling there. Race leader Koroyce, we're still behind him in the slipstream, but our 1.8 turbo in this little Lotus 211 not as powerful as the cars in front and behind, and sure enough, here comes the monstrous M3 GTR. Uses the slipstream and the power to get up the inside. Erik Kvik through into 2nd at the Vidal chicane. Well, he's going to lose out a little under braking. Luc de Kock comes back on the inside. The 211 weighs only 800 kilos, but still doesn't want to get sandwiched between the BMW and the pit wall barrier. Well, an enterprising start by the Lotus, but it's not to last long as Luc de Kock retires for the 3rd time this season. It's a broken belt.
It's
unbelievable, he says. It's the 2nd time this happened this year. Last year, no problems at all. We changed nothing on the car. So now we've really got to find what's going wrong. We have really got to get this fixed. He's not the only one in trouble. The BMW of Erik Kvik and Philippe Benil retires after the stops as well. In the final stages of the race, Dennis de Groot takes the battle to Koroyce with no result seconds against Oyster's 15. He closes right in, but the veteran holds him off. He's 2.1 seconds ahead at the checkered flag after an hour of racing.
Nou, het was krap aan hoor.
Well, that was really close, says Cor. He was really hunting me down. After the safety car, I thought my lead was big enough, but he closed the gap in just a few laps. My tyres were almost shot, and before I really noticed it, he was on my back bumper. So I had to use all the tricks I've learned throughout my career to try and keep him behind me. He's really good. So Koroyce claims his 2nd 2014 win. English driver Lee Allen is 3rd. Koen Boekhart's Peter van Solen 4th, still leading the championship, but their rivals are closing in. In the sports division, the orange Lotus there for Erik van Dijk was on pole for both races but failed to react properly to the lights. We're on board with Dennis de Borst. He's already in the lead, but look, coming through, Elena Braspenning in her BMW 3 Series Compact. The BMW with more speed but with more weight, so she has to brake earlier. De Borst looking up the inside in the little Renault Clio RS. So he retakes the lead immediately, and in fact Elena on the inside here will soon be dropped back to 6th position as the other cars get around her and start to move on. Well, Evan van Dijk in the orange Lotus recovering from a poor start, retaking 2nd place around the outside of Rob Neiman in the bit curve. And Van Dijk now coming down the start-finish straight. In the slipstream, looking down the inside, lighter Lotus, even more nimble than the Clios. And through he goes to grab the lead. Block pass, sticks it right in the middle of the corner. And de Borst can't get back through. So the mid-engined rear-drive Lotus ahead of the front-engine front-drive Clio, but both equally well matched. Well, later on in the race, somebody drops oil, there's a safety car, and that puts Erwin van Dijk a lap ahead of his rivals, but he isn't aware of that in the closing stages, attacking Rob Neiman, third in the sports class, who he thinks is second. There's contact, and race control will hand the Lotus driver a penalty for race 2. He'll be forced to start from the pit lane. In post-race scrutineering, it turns out that his car is also lighter than it should have been, so he's disqualified. Van der Voort and Rutgers win from the Brass Pennings, daughter and father. Rob Neiman stays in third. Beautiful conditions again at the Nürburgring for race 2. Koolreuser once more on pole position in his Lotus Evora. 30 seconds results penalty for him during the mandatory pit stops, and that's 20 more than race 1 rival Dennis de Groot. De Groot's teammate Jan Stackenberg will start their BMW M3 from third on the grid, with Luc de Kock's Lotus 211 in second. So here we go, the rush down to the first chicane. Koolreuser on pole position, Luc de Kock alongside. Good start from the white BMW Jan Stackenberg. The black car of Koolreuser, the white one on the right-hand side, Luc de Kock. The two Lotuses again rushing down to the first corner. Stackenberg in third. White and blue Seat to Benno van Rey looking down the inside for third place into the first corner with Erik van der Munkhoff. Very cautious start, he's 14th. He qualified 6th but was dropped back down to 11th for crossing the pit lane white line at the exit during qualifying and not making a very big impression at the start. Behind Oyser and Luc de Kock, Benno van Rey in the Seat. In 6th place, that's Rick van Beek in the Little Seeker. Then a gap back to Art Bosman, the Lotus Exige, the orange, white and green car. Little better start from Peder van Solen, the championship leader. 7th place. Right in front is Rick van Beek in that little low-slung Seeker GT car that started 10th and is now up to 6th. Through the bit curve. Oh, having to lift as the Seeker gets very slowly off the corner. Using all that M-power though to go through as he snatches 6th place. Koolreuser ahead of Luc de Kock, whose car is that smoking already. Third Benno van Rey, then Jan Stackenberg, the white BMW, then Lee Allen in his Seat Leon. And then a little further back, Peder van Solen, and we're behind that. The battle here for 7th place, Art Bosman in the Lotus Exige. In front, Jonas de Kimper, the Seat Leon goes by. And there is the Seeker GT car, and that is Rick van Beek. Oh, and they're going either side of the Seat, one in either mirror. Who's going to win that battle under braking? Well, the Lotus of Art Bosman does. And de Kimper's going to be 7th. Oh, look! And the Seeker's sideways in the middle of the pack. After a broken gearbox on race 1, it'll soon retire with an electrical short. Let's take a look back on the straight. We're riding with Erik van der Munkhoff. Michael Verhagen in front in the BMW 1 Series GTR. Ronald van Loon right behind in the next World Touring Car BMW 3 Series. Van der Munkhoff down the inside. This is for 12th place. Little bumpy over the curbs. He goes through. But with the M Series colours on the lighter 1 Series, Verhagen comes right back at him. And it looks like Ronald van Loon is attacking as well. There he is right alongside. Wheel to wheel for 12th, 13th and 14th. Well, Verhagen seems to be having more luck with the 1 Series than he did with the Honda S2000 last year. As we ride again with Erik van der Munkhoff. Ronald van Loon right there. Little to choose between these two cars, is there? BMW 1 Series, Z4 and 3 Series all battling together for the same bit of tarmac. Looks like the driver is going to make the difference. Van der Munkhoff back up into 13th. Well, Luc de Kock's doing a good job for a man who's driving with everything crossed to hope the car stays together. Still keeping leader Koolreuser under pressure as the Lotuses race away from the rest of the field. Changes further back on board with Peder van Solen. That's Lee Allen's Seat. And the BMW X-World Touring Car chassis up the inside into the Vidal chicane, changed there for 5th. And he can see the battle shaping up in front as well. Behind the two Lotuses, look, there is the Seat. Benno van Rey under pressure as Jan Stackenberg throws the BMW down the inside. So that's a change for 3rd place. And that has got to give Peder van Solen some encouragement to go and chase that blue and white Seat. And it's not long before Van Solen is right where he wants to be, piling the pressure on Benno van Rey. 4th place is there for the taking. The BMW's got the momentum up the hill. And into the final corner, through he goes. So he moves on, scoring more points as he does. Well, BMW starting to find the upper hand in this race, it seems. Behind Art Bosman, the yellow, black and white car, that is Philip Bonnell. Car started in race 1 by Eric Vick. He goes up the inside of Jonas de Camper. And de Camper in the Seat tries to battle back, but he's not going to be able to overhaul the BMW M3 on the straight. And it's not long before Bonnell has closed on Art Bosman, repeats the move again, the Vidal chicane, the classic Nürburgring overtaking position, and as Bosman gets in too deep and is slow off the corner, through goes Jonas de Camper as well, and Michael Verhagen in the BMW 1 Series is quick to pounce. So this is really bad news for Art Bosman in that Lotus. Defending too long at the chicane has cost him not 1 but 3 places. And again, here comes Verhagen, putting the pressure on Jonas de Camper and the Seat Leon. This is now for 8th position. Art Bosman just behind. Seems his engine replacement after race 1's failure not quite as strong. Meanwhile, the BMW up the inside. And Verhagen takes the place away without too much drama. Art Bosman right there still in the Lotus though. So again on board with Jonas de Camper. Can't take anything for granted. The lightweight Lotus very deep in under braking. Up the inside. And Bosman parks it on the apex, takes the place away from the Seat. Well, it's starting to look like Jonas de Camper is everybody's favourite target. Now the Petronas Seat is under pressure for 10th place. This is Erik van der Munkhoff, of course, in the BMW Z4 Coupe. In the slipstream down the straight, dives out at the last minute. This is the approved move down the inside of the Nürburgring. But it looks like our Seat driver is not ready to give it up yet. Jonas gets on the power nice and early. That 2-litre turbo chimes in. And the BMW is left floundering. Van der Munkhoff's going to have to do it all again. And so he does, this time down into the hairpin. And that's a change for 9th because Luc de Kock's Lotus has dropped out of the race. With Peter van Solen up in front is Jan Stuckenberg, 2nd place in the class. But he is stuck in slower traffic. There's the white BMW. Was a little bit held up. And again, up the inside. Well, Peter van Solen being bold there, using the momentum. Van Stuckenberg lost his rhythm a little there in that sports class traffic and loses 2nd place. Into the pit stops, Van Stuckenberg is in. Dennis de Groot will take over. He was 2nd at the end of race 1. 10 seconds success ballast for them against 15 for Koen Burkhardt and Peter van Solen as they swap over. And that means that Dennis de Groot will head back out in 2nd place after the stops. Kooroyser's got 30 result seconds, but he will still have the lead thanks to his big advantage before the pit stops. So the battle then for 2nd place rejoined. Dennis de Groot in the white car ahead of Koen Burkhardt, but only just. Well, here's the battle for 5th. The Lotus is Art Bosman, Lee Allen, red, white and blue Seat. Red, black and white, Erik van der Munkhoff's BMW Z4. And then the blue and white Seat, that's Marco Bickers taken over from Benno van Rey. So on board with van der Munkhoff. Through goes Lee Allen. He's now 5th. Down to 7th, Art Bosman. And up to 5th place, Erik van der Munkhoff. So he's got by Lee Allen's Seat as well. The 2nd Seat, Marco Bickers, also got a good run onto the straight. So he comes past Lee Allen. So the guys that were at the back are now at the front. Van der Munkhoff in 5th place. Marco Bickers right behind in 6th. Then Lee Allen in 7th. So he's gone back 1. And Art Bosman has gone from 5th to 8th. It was a disastrous couple of corners for the Lotus driver as the Seat gets right up behind the BMW. And look at that, Marco Bickers absolutely flying. Breezes by van der Munkhoff for 5th. And remember this chap? Exactly, that's our race leader, Kooroyser, heading to his 3rd consecutive win, his double race winning weekend, and it's his 2nd win from lights to flag. Gaining the upper hand in the end in the seesaw battle for 2nd place, Dennis de Groot, who stayed in front of Koen Burkhardt all the way to the checker. So the very happy Lotus driver on the top step of the podium. Dennis de Groot, up 2 places in the standings, is our new Supersport leader from Burkhardt and van Solen, with Kooroyser in 3rd, but with 45 result seconds, Oyser's going to find it tough winning next time out. Stay with us after the break. We head to the sports class for race 2 and all the highlights from the Superlights. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntex Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spa05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes. Welcome back to the Supercar Challenge powered by Pirelli. It's round 2 at Germany's Nürburgring. Before the break, we saw double victories for Koroyzer. He's now won 3 of the 4 races this season in the Supersport class. Well, let's pick up the action with the sports division on board with pole sitter Martin de Klein. His replacement engine after a blow-up in race 1, less powerful than he'd like. There's Rob Neiman right behind. On the right, the BMW of Wesley Carranza. Elena Braspenning also ganging up. They're all going by him. How many places will he lose? Well, there's Rob Neiman, yellow and orange. There's Elena Braspenning on the right. Wesley Carranza's already gone by. And the other orange and red car, that's Tern Rutgers. He's got a great run. He's gone from outside to inside. And he's going to have the lead here as the 3 in front of us all bundle up together. And another BMW, Leonid Protasov of Ukraine. Well, through has gone Tern Rutgers, Elena Braspenning in second, Rob Neiman in front of us, and so we're still in 4th place. Right at the top of the screen there, Elena runs out wide, still in front of Rob Neiman, but the first yellow and orange Clio, that's our class leader, Tern Rutgers. So on board again with Martin de Klein. Well, the engine's not that bad. He's closing up on Rob Neiman from behind, using the slipstream. Looks like he's right in the toe. Neiman on the brakes. We're a little bit later. Bangs it down the inside. Nothing wrong with his stopping, that's for sure. He goes through into 3rd place. And Wesley Carranza comes around the outside for 4th. So Neiman's lost 2 spots. And I think we're going to lose 3rd place any moment now as the BMW starts to power by. And up the hill, there's nothing that Martin de Klein can do. BMW surging to the front. Elena Braspenning about to take the lead from Tern Rutgers. 3rd, the dark car, Wesley Carranza. Then the white car, Leonid Protasov. He's in 4th place. Then Martin de Klein ahead of Rob Neiman in the Dayglow yellow and orange Clio. Neiman right behind us, up to the Vidal chicane, deep into the braking area, both in too late. Neiman spins in avoidance as de Klein gets it all wrong and cuts the chicane. Neiman's lost a place there to Chris Foot. Let's take a look from Neiman's onboard then, up to the Vidal chicane, looking at the inside, not going to make it, oh, and spins out in avoidance, just both of them getting in too deep. Well, after daughter Elena handed him the family BMW in the lead, the very least Ron Braspenning could do was take it to the checkered flag at the front of the field, and so he did, comfortably ahead of Erwin van Dijk, who despite starting from the pit lane after penalties in race 1, finished in 2nd spot ahead of Leonid Protasov and Andrei Yevchenko. Well, today Dad took care of the 2nd stint, said Elena. Very pleased with the start of the race today. Yesterday wasn't quite so good, but I was able to keep a good pace up, take the lead. It's my first ever win in Supercar Challenge, so I'm really happy. And so she should be. She and Father Ron move up 3 spots in the standings to take the lead in Sports Division. Rob Neiman drops to 2nd, Erwin van Dijk remains in 3rd. Well, the Nürburgring was round 2 for the Superlights division, the fast sports prototypes. The field is boosted by 2 new entries from Norma, and Denny van Dongen is back in the Praga R1 with an engine upgrade. Start of race 1 with Berry van Elk, Denny van Dongen's Praga and Co-Copion's Radical in front. Through goes Philippe Leclerc in the Norma. The front row Radical SR8s of Henk Tace and Pim van Riet both starting from the pit lane, and they're the only guys that aren't going to go by Berry van Elk into the first corner. So Philippe Leclerc leading in the Norma, Co-Copion with the red highlights on his SR3 Radical in second, Denny van Dongen, the closed ultra-low Praga there in 3rd. And look back, there's the white Praga on the left, that's Berry van Elk trying to recover from his disappointing start, he's in 7th. 5 laps in, new leader, Denny van Dongen in the white Praga, dives to the inside of Philippe Leclerc in the Norma, and Leclerc then smokes him up on the exit, spins away 2nd place as Vibo Rademacher goes through. Well, Rademacher still in 2nd as he comes for his mandatory pit stop. Reese's racing team giving him plenty of attention. Little clean of the visor. And he heads back out. Teammate Rick van Geffen, not well, he's back at home. So it's a morale-boosting win for the team as Vibo Rademacher heads off to his first ever victory in the Group 3 class. biggest rival Kopian struggling with tyre issues, but Rademacher did what he needed.
Ja, heerlijk gevoel. Dat is mooi.
That's great, he said, just wonderful. I beat Kopian, my strongest rival in Group 3. I managed to pass him. It's the first time in all the years I've driven this Radical SR3 that I've done that. So it's amazing. And he's gaining on Kopian in the points as well. Well, the Radical SR8s were released from the pit lane and soon stormed to the lead in the Group 2 class. Henk Thijs claimed his third win of the season. Danny Brand and Pim van Riet were in second spot despite a 30-second penalty for crossing the white line at the pit lane exit after their stop. Dry again for race 2 and a positively summery 21 degrees. The SR8s again starting from the pit lane. Once more, the race gets underway. Kopian with the green and white Norma of Philippe de Klerk alongside and then racing in front as we ride on board with Kopian. Danny van Dongen's white car right behind, but the blue Norma of David Houthoft. Contact from Wiebe Rademacher spins him around. Kopian got collected as well. Let's take a look. Down the inside, Rademacher loses it under braking. Kopian can't avoid him either. So the end result is a comfy lead for Philippe de Klerk. Then Kopian and Robert Scharnau second and third. The dark Praga, that's Carlo Koya ahead of Noel Kohler and Danny van Dongen in the two white Pragas. Wiebe Rademacher dropping out of the race, and it's not long before Kopian follows him. Bodywork damage, losing aerodynamic downforce. And of course, two drivers, one incident. Bound to be more than one story as to who's to blame. Well, each thinks it's somebody else's fault, but I'm afraid they're going to have to agree to disagree.
Ja, het is altijd omgaan met teleurstellingen. Dus in de eerste bocht ben ik waarschijnlijk iets te hard erin gegaan.
Racing, says Wiebe, also means coping with disappointments. In the first corner, I got in too fast, according to Co. The door was wide open. I dived in, but I had no room from the left. The blue car turned in. I had nowhere to go. He smashed into me from the side. I've got broken suspension, so I can't continue. One corner, all over, says Co. Shame, really. Car was ready for a 1 hour race after problems on Saturday, but someone decided to overshoot his braking point. I let him go, thought I could get by, but I got hit as well. The car's damaged on the front left. It's all plastic, gets broken very easily, so that's the end of the race. Well, Danny van Dongen in the Praga got badly held up in that incident, dropped to the tail of the field, but he digs deep, finally gets by the Norma of Philippe de Klerk to win Group 3 in the Praga. In Group 2, Henk Thijs and Danny Brand co-driving in this race win it, making it a total of 4 wins out of 4 for Henk Thijs and an excellent double debut for Danny Brand. Great fun, he says. The race was much better than yesterday. I had a really wonderful time in the Radical. The car was perfect from start to finish, so I'm happy. Combined podium with Dusan Mali, the CEO of Praga, taking the trophy for Danny van Dongen, who was already on the grid for another race in what was a very busy weekend. Carlo Koya second, Robert Scharnau in third. Well, that's it from the Nürburgring. Next time out, we're at Spa-Francorchamps. We've got a combined grid of all the GT and touring car divisions. 70 cars starting one race. Full report next time out on Motors TV. The Supercar Challenge is powered by Pirelli, Syntex Innovative Lubricants, Autosportinsurance.com, Spa05.com and Fitzner Performance Gearboxes.